The galaxy was quiet, but not peaceful. For many years, a powerful alien alliance ruled most of space. They called themselves the Union. It was made of many strong alien races, all working together. They controlled thousands of planets, huge fleets, and advanced technology. No one dared to challenge them. Then there were humans. Humans were new to the galaxy. They had only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. Their ships were smaller. Their numbers were fewer. Compared to the Union, they looked weak. So, the Union did not take them seriously. At first, it was small things. A human mining station went silent. A supply ship never reached its destination. A small colony lost contact. The Union said it was accidents. But humans knew the truth. Someone was testing them. Still, humanity did not react with anger. They stayed quiet. They watched. They waited. In the Union Council chambers, alien leaders spoke openly about humans. They are soft, one said. They will submit, said another. They always do. Slowly, Union fleets started moving closer to human space. One border outpost was taken. No fight. Then another. Each time, humans pulled back. No war. No response. To the Union, this was proof. Humans were weak. But something felt strange. Human ships were still moving. Their colonies were still active. Their communication lines were strong. It was like they were not afraid at all. They were just waiting. Then one day, everything changed. A message was sent. Not to one system. Not to one fleet. To the entire galaxy. Every screen, every station, every command center received the same signal. It was from Earth. The message was simple. No long speech. No threats. No anger. Just one line. This is your final warning. Do not cross our borders again. That was all. No explanation. No negotiation. Just silence after that. For a moment, the galaxy paused. Then, the Union laughed. In their great halls, alien leaders mocked the message. A warning, one said with a smile. From them, another replied. They have no power to warn anyone. To them, it was nothing. Just desperate words from a weak species. They decided to ignore it. In fact, they decided to push further. A Union fleet was ordered to move deeper into human space. Not just near the border this time, but across it. The fleet was strong. Dozens of warships. Advanced weapons. Elite commanders. They crossed the line without hesitation. At first, everything seemed normal. The stars were calm. Sensors showed no enemy ships. No defense systems. No response. It seems the humans are hiding, the fleet commander said. Some ships began scanning nearby systems. Others moved forward, confident and relaxed. Then, something changed. A small signal flickered on their sensors. Just for a second. Then it disappeared. Check that, the commander ordered. No result. Moments later, one of the ships at the back of the formation went dark. No explosion. No warning. It was just, gone. Report, the commander demanded. No answer. The crew tried to contact the missing ship. Nothing came back. Confusion spread across the fleet. Then another ship vanished. This time, the sensors caught something. Not a weapon. Not a missile. Just a shadow, moving too fast to track. Form up, the commander shouted. The fleet tightened its formation. Weapons powered up. Eyes scanning every direction. But space was empty. Cold. Silent. Then the third ship disappeared. Now panic started to grow. "What is happening?" one officer whispered. Before anyone could answer, the signal from the entire fleet began to break. Static filled the channels. Lights flickered. Systems failed one by one. The last transmission sent out was short. Broken. Full of fear. "We can't see them, they are." The message cut off. Silence followed. Complete silence. Back in Union space, command centers waited for updates. None came. Minutes passed. Then hours. Still nothing. The entire fleet, gone. No debris. No signals. No survivors. Just empty space where they once were. For the first time in a long time. The Union did not laugh. Fear slowly entered the room. "What did humans just do?" one leader asked quietly. No one had an answer. And far away, in the quiet darkness of space, humanity said nothing. Because they had already given their warning. The silence did not feel normal anymore. After the first fleet vanished, the Union tried to stay calm. They told their people it was a technical failure, maybe a hidden trap, maybe an unknown space storm. But deep inside, they knew something was wrong. Fleets did not just disappear. Not like that. In the Great Council chamber, the leaders gathered again. This time, there was no laughter. No jokes. Only tension. "We need answers," one leader said. "And we will get them," another replied. A new fleet was prepared. This one was not small. It was one of the largest strike forces the Union had ever sent. Hundreds of warships. Heavy weapons. Advanced sensors. Elite commanders. They were ready for war. But more than that, they were ready for fear. The fleet commander was different this time. Careful. Experienced. He had studied every detail of the lost fleet. "Stay alert," he told his crew. "Something is out there." The fleet moved toward human space again. As they reached the border, something strange happened. There were no defenses. No ships. No warnings. No messages. Human space looked empty. "Proceed slowly," the commander ordered. The ships crossed the same invisible line where the last fleet had vanished. At first, everything was fine. Then the sensors began to fail. Not completely, just small errors. Distances looked wrong. Signals came and went. Stars shifted slightly on the screens. "Fix it," the commander said. Engineers worked fast. They checked every system. But nothing was broken. Still, the problem remained. Then came the shadows. One pilot reported seeing something move outside his window. Another said a shape passed behind their ship. But when they checked, there was nothing there. No visual confirmation, the system said. Still, more pilots reported the same thing. Something was moving in the dark. Watching them. The commander stayed calm. "Hold formation. Do not panic." But it was already starting. One of the ships on the left side suddenly slowed down. "Engine failure," the crew reported. Before help could reach them, the ship went dark. Gone. No explosion. No sound. Just like before. "Everyone stay together," the commander shouted. The fleet moved closer, forming a tight circle. Weapons were ready. Shields were up. Then the attacks began. Not loud. Not fast. Quiet. One ship disappeared from the front. Then one from the back. Then another from the center. It made no sense. There was no pattern. No enemy ships on the scanners. No energy readings. Nothing. "They are picking us off," one officer said, his voice shaking. But where are they? Another asked. No one knew. The commander tried to stay strong. Fire in all directions. Weapons lit up the darkness. Laser beams and missiles flew into empty space. But they hit nothing. Only silence answered back. Then something worse happened. The fleet's communication system started to break. Voices turned into static. Orders could not be heard clearly. Ships began to lose contact with each other. They were no longer a fleet. They were alone. One by one. A small scout ship managed to escape the center of the chaos. It was damaged, but still moving. The pilot pushed the engines to the limit. He did not look back. Behind him, the fleet was disappearing. Not destroyed. Erased. The pilot opened a channel to Union Command. His voice was weak. Broken. Full of fear. This is Scout Unit 7, we are under attack. Static cut through his words. No enemy ships, nothing on sensors. His breathing was heavy. Then he said something that no one in the Union would ever forget. They are not fighting us. A long pause. Then, in a whisper. They are hunting us. The signal ended. The scout ship never reached home. Back in Union space, the message played again and again. Every leader heard it. Every commander felt it. This was not war. This was something else. Something they did not understand. And for the first time, the Union was afraid. Meanwhile, human space remained silent. No messages. No movements. No signs of life. But deep in that silence, something was waiting. Watching. And preparing for what would come next. Fear spread quietly across the Union. After the Second Fleet vanished, no one spoke with confidence anymore. The same leaders who once laughed at humans now avoided each other's eyes. Reports came in from every corner of Union space, small patrol ships refusing to go near human borders, traders changing routes, entire systems going silent out of fear. Something had changed. And everyone felt it. In the highest chamber of the Union, an emergency meeting was called. This time, even the oldest and most powerful races attended. The air was heavy. No one wanted to speak first. Finally, one of the elder leaders stood up. We were wrong, he said. No one argued. A new plan was made, not for war, but for understanding. They would not send another fleet. Instead, they sent something smaller. A single observation ship. No weapons. No attack orders. Its mission was simple, stay far from human space, and watch. The ship moved slowly, carefully, stopping just outside the invisible border. Its systems were the best the Union had, long-range scanners, deep signal trackers, advanced visual arrays. For a while, nothing happened. Then, the data started to come in. At first, it looked like empty space. But when the crew looked closer, they saw patterns. Strange energy lines moving between stars. Signals that did not match any known technology. Hidden structures, so large they looked like part of space itself. The commander leaned forward. Zoom in. The screen adjusted. And then, they saw it. Ships. Hundreds of them. No, thousands. They were not moving like normal fleets. They were perfectly still, hidden in darkness, their power signatures almost invisible. Each one was massive. Bigger than any Union warship. And they were everywhere. Around stars. Between planets. Even in deep empty space. Watching. Waiting. The crew felt a chill. These were not built recently, one officer said. They had been here for a long time. The commander understood. Humans were never unprepared. They were never weak. They had been building all this, in silence. While the Union was watching borders and small colonies, humanity was preparing something much bigger. Scan for weapons, the commander ordered. The results came back quickly. The ship's system struggled to understand what they were seeing. Energy levels beyond known limits. Unknown weapon types. Systems that did not match any design in the galaxy. This is not normal technology, the engineer whispered. Before the commander could respond, something moved. One of the human ships turned. Slowly. Directly toward them. Alarms went off across the observation ship. "We've been detected," someone shouted. "But we are outside their space," another replied. It didn't matter. The human ship began to move. No engines were visible. No heat trails. Yet it was getting closer. Fast. "Retreat," the commander ordered. The observation ship turned and pushed its engines to full power. But the human ship followed. Closing the distance without effort. Then, a signal appeared. Not on one screen. On every screen. A message. Clear. Calm. Cold. "You were told to stay away." The crew froze. No one spoke. The message continued. "This is not your space." The commander tried to send a reply. "We come in peace. We only wish to observe." The signal cut him off. "You were given a warning." For a moment, there was silence. Then the final line came. "Now you understand." The human ship stopped. It did not fire. It did not attack. It just stayed there, watching. The observation ship escaped. Barely. When it returned to Union space, the data it carried changed everything. The recordings were shown to every leader. Every commander. Every system. The truth was clear now. Humans had not been running away. They had been drawing a line. And the Union had crossed it. Again and again. One of the leaders spoke, his voice shaking. "They were never weak." Another finished his thought. "They were waiting for us to make a mistake." Silence filled the room. Because now they all knew. The warning had been real. And humanity was no longer hiding. They were ready. Not to defend. But to move forward. And this time. The galaxy would not survive the lesson easily. The galaxy did not hear the moment it began. There was no loud announcement. No warning message. No great speech. Just silence. Then, everything changed. At the edge of Union space, a small listening station suddenly lost power. The crew inside tried to restart their systems, but nothing responded. Before they could send a distress signal, their screens went dark. When power returned a few seconds later, the station was empty. No damage. No signs of a fight. Just gone. At the same time, in another system far away, a Union patrol fleet stopped moving. Their engines were still active, their weapons ready, but the ships did not respond to any command. Then, one by one, they powered down. Completely. Across dozens of systems, the same thing began to happen. Ships freezing. Stations going silent. Entire defense networks shutting off at once. No explosions. No visible attacks. Just control, taken away. Inside Union Command, alarms filled the air. What is happening? Why are systems failing? Who is attacking us? But there was no clear answer. Because there was no clear enemy. Until they finally saw them. In the orbit of a major Union world, space itself seemed to open. Not a portal. Not a jump point. Something else. A smooth tear in darkness. From it, a human warship appeared. Then another. And another. Within seconds, a full fleet stood in orbit. Massive. Silent. Perfectly still. The planet's defense systems tried to lock onto them. Nothing worked. Targeting systems failed. Weapons refused to fire. Shields flickered and died. The people on the planet looked up at the sky, and saw the ships. No one had ever seen anything like them before. They were not just machines. They looked alive. Moving slowly, like they were breathing. Watching everything below. Then the message came. It was not just sent to that planet. It was sent to the entire Union. Every screen. Every device. The same calm voice. We warned you. That was all. No countdown. No threat. Just a reminder. Moments later, the attack began. But it was not like any war the galaxy had seen. Human ships did not fire endless waves of weapons. They chose targets carefully. A command center, gone in a second. A weapons facility, erased without sound. A fleet yard, completely disabled. Precise. Controlled. Unstoppable. Union ships tried to fight back. They launched everything they had. Missiles. Lasers. Energy blasts. But nothing touched the human fleet. It was like trying to hit a shadow. Some ships reported that their weapons changed direction mid-flight, turning away from human targets. Others said their systems shut down the moment they aimed at human ships. Fear spread faster than the attacks. In system after system, the same thing happened. Human fleets appeared. Key targets were removed. Then they moved on. No delay. No hesitation. No mercy. But also, no chaos. This was not destruction for anger. This was a plan. A perfect plan. Back in Union Command, leaders watched their empire fall apart in real time. Open communication, one shouted. Send surrender signals, another said. They tried everything. Peace offers. Apologies. Requests for ceasefire. Finally, a response came. Short. Clear. You had your chance. That was it. The attacks continued. Not everywhere. Just enough. Enough to break control. Enough to remove power. Enough to send a message that could not be ignored. Within hours, the strongest Union fleets were gone. Not destroyed completely, but disabled. Powerless. Worlds that once felt safe now stood quiet and exposed. No one knew where the next human fleet would appear. No one knew how to stop them. And the worst part. Humans were not rushing. They were not losing control. They were calm. Careful. Like they had already planned every move long before this moment. In one final act, a massive Union defense line was formed near their core worlds. Every remaining ship gathered there. Thousands of warships. All ready for one last stand. Then, human ships appeared. Not in front of them. Not behind them. But everywhere. Surrounding them in complete silence. No escape. No path forward. The Union fleet prepared to fight. But before anything could begin, every system on every ship shut down at once. Lights went out. Weapons died. Engines stopped. Total darkness. The last thing they saw was a single message on their screens. This ends now. And just like that, the war was over. Not with a final battle, but with complete control. Humanity had not just fought back. They had taken over the battlefield itself. And there was nothing the Union could do to stop it. The galaxy did not celebrate. There were no victory songs. No loud speeches. No cheers. Only silence. The Union was still alive, but it was no longer powerful. Its fleets were disabled. Its systems were broken. Its leaders, quiet. Across thousands of worlds, people waited. They looked to the sky, expecting more human ships to appear. Expecting the end. But it did not come. Hours passed. Then days. And slowly, something strange happened. Human fleets began to disappear. Not destroyed. Not defeated. They simply left. One by one, the massive ships faded back into deep space. The same silent way they had arrived. No pursuit. No final attack. No revenge. Just, gone. The Union did not understand. Why did they stop? One leader asked. No one answered. Because the truth was difficult to accept. Humans were not trying to destroy everything. They never were. They had only done what they said they would do. Nothing more. Nothing less. In the central chamber, the remaining leaders gathered again. But this time, the room felt different. There was no pride left. No arrogance. Only the weight of what had happened. One of the oldest leaders stood up slowly. We crossed their line, he said quietly. No one argued. Another spoke. They gave us a warning, and we ignored it. A long silence followed. Because now, every leader understood the same thing. This was not just a defeat. This was a lesson. A hard one. Across Union space, systems slowly began to come back online. Ships regained power. Stations restarted. Communication returned. But everything felt different. Every signal carried caution. Every order was given with care. Because now, they knew someone was always watching. Then, one final message arrived. It appeared across the entire galaxy. Not forced. Not sudden. It came like a calm voice in a quiet room. Clear. Simple. Respect our peace, or face our war. That was all. No threats. No anger. Just truth. The message stayed for a moment, then disappeared. And humanity went silent again. Far beyond the borders, hidden in the dark between stars, their fleets remained. Watching. Waiting. But not moving. Not unless they had to. Time passed. Slowly, the galaxy began to change. Trade routes opened again, but now they avoided human space. Explorers moved carefully, always checking their paths. Leaders chose their words wisely when speaking about Earth. No one laughed anymore. No one underestimated humans. Because they had seen what happened when the line was crossed. And they knew there would not be another warning. On one distant world, a young alien looked up at the stars and asked a simple question. Why do we fear them so much? An elder stood beside him and replied softly. Because they gave us a choice, and we chose wrong. The child looked confused. They don't want to destroy us. The elder shook his head. No. If they wanted that, we would already be gone. The child looked back at the stars. So what do they want? The elder answered. Respect. Far away, on Earth, life continued as normal. Cities were alive. People moved through their daily routines. Nothing looked like it had changed. But deep below the surface, and far beyond the sky, humanity remained ready. Not for war. But for whatever came next. Because they understood something the rest of the galaxy had just learned. Peace is given freely. But once it is broken, it must be protected. At any cost. And somewhere in the endless dark of space, hidden fleets stood still, like silent guardians. Unseen. Unknown. Unstoppable. Waiting for the day, someone would make the same mistake again. But deep inside, the galaxy already knew the truth. Humanity never gives a second warning.